a Pacific West home inspection. Today is Saturday, and we're doing a house up in Valencia, and we got some competition with the Border Patrol up there. I want to go over how to shut things off. So again, this is Saturday, July 12th. And at the left exterior of the house, you have your main panel. If you notice, they have caution. You have solar panels here. And then this is the main shutoff for the power from the utility, the street utility. And then there'll be the shut off the actual from the grid. It's this one here, over here. So you have another box here, and this is where all your cables and they call it the smart box, all come into being. And then over here you have a gas meter, and the very bottom pipe coming up from the ground, there's a valve here, turns 90 degrees and it shuts off all the gas to the house. So if you have friends down in LA, they're going to ask you, do you have a seismic gas shutoff valve? So the box that goes on here, and up in, it's only required in the city of LA, Santa Monica, and Beverly Hills, so it's not required up here. So if you're true Californians, you just ride the earthquakes, no problem at all. So we just talked about gas, power, and the next thing we're going to do is water. And to shut off the water, it's inside your garage here, and you've got the top valve will be for your house, and it goes through a regulator. It's missing a pressure relief valve, and the bottom one will be going to your sprinkler system. And a lot of times they'll chain these things off. This wants you to deal with the top one here. Also in here you will find another panel, sub-panel. It's not labeled today, so we don't know what rooms they go to. But outside in your main panel, there's a breaker that says 90 amps, and it feeds this breaker sub-panel here. And then you have your solar panel inverter, and the your building rep will go through what this all means and how to tell you if it's making power or if you're using power. And then they have this also in your garage, they have the water heater. This is a tankless, and Noyes is a good brand, and they actually got all the gas lines and the sediment traps and flexible connectors all done properly. But we did notice today getting hot water to the master bathroom does take a while. That's the furthest one away, so that's what you have. Next thing we're going to do is go look at some different areas that we've seen that needs to be addressed by the builder. So it looks like the builder, landscaper, is in here with his lawnmower or something is dripping oil. So so that's one thing you can have your builder take a look at. Also in here, the door, the two bottom sections don't have handles. So we like those for, so you have something to physically grab hold of to operate the garage door when you don't have an opener or power's out. Walking up to the front door and the front porch, there's poured concrete, and you got cracking through it, the surface, that falls all the way to the outer part of the porch. And you may have poured it on a hot day and then hydrated enough. So we're in the house now. It's a very comfortable cold feeling after being out in the hot sun. And earlier we had, I'm in the kitchen now, and there's a couple areas that need to be addressed here. The pinholes, some of the finish is worn. There's a damaged area down here. And there's, where's that other area? Oh yeah, up in the corner, which I'll mark here in a minute, the finish is damaged there as well. So the noisy oven finally no longer noisy, but there's a fan that kept going, goes on, and that's to dissipate the heat once you turn the oven off, and it's making a rattling noise. So that will need to be addressed by the builder as well. Today, the gas was shut off at the fireplace appliance, and this is one of the newer fireplaces where you just click a button, a switch on the wall, and it's has a self-starter, self-igniter, and it's not starting today, and typically the gas just needs to be turned on there. You have one air conditioning system, but it's a zone system. So it's set up for 3 zones. So the bottom level you have a zone coming into the kitchen. The generation room also has a zone. And then upstairs there's a zone up there as well. So they're using the same compressor, and there'll be a series of dampeners up in the ducts that will open and close as needed. And they need to be looked at or maintained once a year. And I always recommend to get a AC tune-up in the springtime and make sure that they look at the dampeners at that time. They're run by little servos, similar to an RC airplane. We're still in the kitchen here, and we're looking at the very top trim for the cabinetry, and there's an open spot here. They've only used, I think, looks like 1 nail to hold it in place, so this has to be reattached. And also, when they build a house, they use green wood. It's 19% moisture, so during the first year or so, it starts to dry down to 12%, and you get a lot of warpage in the walls and things like that. And where it picks up a lot is the trim on around your doors. You'll get little gaps here. So a lot of times the builders up here will come back in 3 months and again at 6 months, and they'll seal these gaps here. So it's a typical occurrence that happens on doorways with wood trim. And also talking about maintenance type issues, because you'll be using your AC quite a lot up here. You may want to be thinking about changing your filters out a minimum of 4 times a year. And that's usually a good filter, a $10 filter. If you use the $2 ones, then which the AC companies like to use, and they prefer them, you change them out once a month, and they actually work better with your systems because it's not so much of a load on the systems. So that's your frequency of changing out filters.